Ready, Jen?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So we're going to hear about the origins of the Lightning Data Center. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
Sure. I'm talking to my niece, Jennifer Coffey, who's wonderful. Let me give you some of the information about my involvement with the study of the medical aspects of lightning injuries. This all began many years ago. It must have been in the 80s, the 1980s, when I saw my first lightning patient. This was a man who on a July day in Denver, while riding his bike, was struck by lightning and he was injured. He suffered a spinal cord injury. And they brought him to St. Anthony Hospital, and I was given the assignment of his care. And I thought, there but for the grace of God go I, because I was always riding my bike in Denver in the summer. And I wondered about what data was available on how often bicyclists are struck by lightning and who else is struck by lightning. So I contacted NOAA, who had a collection of data in what they called storm data. And I got 10 years of data. And I studied that to find out how often are bicyclists struck, how often golfers and other activities were involved with lightning. And I decided I'll write a little paper on this subject. I did, and I submitted it to a prestigious medical journal who promptly rejected it.
What year was this?
This must have been in the 1980s. And they promptly rejected it. So I laid it on my desk and went about my life as usual. Practice was pretty busy back then. And a year or two later, I thought, well, that wasn't such a bad paper. Maybe I ought to submit it to another journal, which I did. I submitted it to a sports medicine journal, who promptly accepted it. The best thing, by the way, that happened to me in regards to my career in lightning injuries was the rejection by the first journal. Because had they accepted it and published it, it would be collecting dust in libraries right now, and very few people would look at it. But the second journal that accepted it made it the cover story, and the cover of that issue of the journal was a lightning strike and my report of this patient on a bike plus 10 years of storm data. A week after that issue was published, I received 2 phone calls from 2 meteorologists, neither of them knowing the other was calling me. And they both said pretty much the same thing. They said, I just read your article and I've been trying to find a doctor who knows what lightning does to people. And I said to both of them, well, I had one patient, you read about it, but I'm happy to meet you. And I met both of them at a Wendy's restaurant in a Denver suburb, Lakewood. We had a nice lunch. And later that day, when I was home, my wife, Nancy, said, well, what happened today? I said, well, it's the same old day. I said, oh, by the way, I met these 2 meteorologists and told her about our meeting. And if it weren't for Nance, my days with studying lightning injuries would be over. But she said, what are you going to do about that? I said, what do you mean, Nance? What's to do about it? I met these guys, they were nice guys, that's the end of it. She said, no, you've never met meteorologists before in your life. There's something more here. Why don't you ask the hospital administrator if he can provide you a room with some coffee and donuts, get those meteorologists back, get some trauma surgeons and emergency room doctors, emergency department doctors, and see what else is available here.
What year was this?
This was in 1992.
Okay. Which hospital was this?
St. Anthony.
St. Anthony in
Hospital
Denver.
in Denver.
Okay.
which, by the way, has recently been abandoned for a newer building of St. Anthony west of there. But nevertheless, we had this meeting arranged, and it turned out to be a remarkable meeting.
A meeting of remarkable men
And women.
and women.
One of the surgeons was a woman doctor. And we had a couple of nurses there too, women nurses.
Do you remember their names of any of the people that were present?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the minutes of that meeting and all subsequent meetings probably can be found on the website of the St. Anthony Hospital Lightning Data Center. Now, there was magic in that meeting because this eclectic group of people coming from different disciplines seemed to have something that each of them wanted to know and could contribute new from the others. That meeting was February of 1992. That was the beginning of many, many meetings and a growing number of people from various disciplines: meteorologists, physicians, computer engineers, professional photographers, the thrill seekers who go out and chase lightning.
Were there clergy?
As a matter of fact, later there was a clergyman who joined the group. And so the group grew, and what we were able to accomplish in subsequent years was to study the lightning phenomenon and solve some mysteries about lightning which were sitting out there to be solved. There's many more lightning mysteries need to be solved, but this group took it on, and we studied lightning both from the point of view of medicine and meteorology, and I remained active in that group for 15 years, and just recently they held a nice retirement party for me, and but the group continues.
Tell me one of the mysteries that was solved that you're familiar with.
One of the mysteries, I'll give you an example of a mystery where a combination of medicine and meteorologists thinking together